Well, hello. Welcome back to another tutorial from beginningprogrammer.com. Beginning C++, a quick primer. This time we are going to be talking about random numbers. So let's get started. Okay, so when you want to do random numbers, and there's reasons why you would want to do random numbers. Let's say, for example, you're creating some kind of casino game. You need to have randomness in it because you want to, for example, shuffle cards or something of that sort. So let's get started. This time you notice we're using cstdlib and ctime because we need the time for the random. So the first thing you want to do with the time is to seed it. And the way you do that, you say srand and then time. So you want to seed the time so you can have a random time. Every time your program runs, it'll have a different random time. And the way you access a random number, you simply say something like this. And this will give us a random number. Now if we run it, we should get a random number 10 times. And I misspelled time, so let's get that right and run it again. And you notice I have some random numbers, but these random numbers are totally meaningless, which brings us to the next topic. In order to have a random number, we need something that will give us an upper limit of a number. So we can do that by saying rand, and let's say, for example, we wanted a number that was random from 0 through 10. So we can say modulus, and the modulus operator will divide the number and take the remainder. So when we mod it by something like 10, it should give us the numbers 0 through 9. So if we do that, we should get numbers 0 through 9. Depending on the random number generator, we may or may not get all those numbers, but all our numbers will be between 0 and 9. So let's run it. As you can see, we get random numbers 7, 8, 3, 5. If we did it more times, we'd probably get all the numbers. So let's try it again. This time you see all the numbers and we get random numbers. Let's say, for example, that we wanted to have a deck of cards, and there's different ways of doing a deck of cards, but for now let's just do an array of strings. So we can say string so let's do a deck of cards, and first thing we want to do, because we want to use strings, and let's include string. Let's create an array of string, so let's call it deck. And we can say it has to be an array, so let's just initialize it with 1 for now, 2, and 3, just to make sure that our code works. And we can do cout, and we can say deck. And now for the index, what we want to do is output one of the values, 1, 2, or 3. So how do we do that? We can say rand, and we can mod it by 3 because we want 0, 1, 2, or 3. We mod it by 3, and it's going to give us a value 1, 2, or 3. And then we want a space to separate them, and then we do a cout endo at the bottom, and we run it. We have an error. So our error is that we don't have the semicolon there. Let's try it again. And now you can see that we get random values from 1 to 3. But that's not what we want. So let's create a deck of cards, and we're going to do it the brute force approach. So let's just say that we had a deck of 52 cards, and let's just use abbreviations for the cards. Let's say we had A of hearts, and then we had a king of hearts. And I'll pause it real quick so I can create the array. So here we have a full deck of cards There's other ways to create deck of cards. You can use multi-dimensional arrays and put it in a loop and then just initialize it. I chose for now just to get the idea of an array. So we have an array of all cards. We have hearts here from all the way from ace down to the 2, and we have diamonds of ace of diamonds all the way down to the 2, ace of clubs all the way down to the 2, and ace of spades all the way down to the 2. Now let's say we wanted to deal a random hand. We can say I less than equal to 5, and we are playing poker, so let's just deal out the 5 cards. So we can do random, and if we know we have 52 cards here, we can mod by 52, and it will give us 5 random cards. So let's go ahead and run it and see what kind of hand we get. So we got spades, seven of spades, jack of clubs, 10 of spades, king of clubs, and jack of hearts. So there it is, random. This is a real world example. If you wanted to do this, you could also initialize this deck into for loops and just create it, and you could actually have suits for one element of the array, and for the other index of the array you could have the faces, and you could just combine them and do different things. But this gets the idea of how to use random number generators. Then another example you could have, and let's take this out. This time let's say rock, paper, scissors. Let's say we had rock, paper, scissors, and let's bring this up a little bit. And we can say rock, oops. We can say rock here. Oops. Can't type today. Please excuse that. Rock, paper, and scissors. And we could output what we have, and you could try playing against a computer, and let's just say that we went up to 5 times, and we say CIN, and you enter your number. So enter your value, and you enter my user, let's say user value, and we can say cout, and you can say 1, 2, or 3. Remember, we are 0 base. And then we can say user value. So we say user value and user value. And then we can say, instead of deck, we can just say hand. And here we can say hand. And here we can say random. Since we have 3 values, we would mod it by 3. So we can get one of 3 values. So the user value is that, cout. And we can say the computer chose, and you can determine who wins. We could also make the computer smart enough to determine who wins, but for this purpose, we just do it this way. You have, and we can say, and we can say user value -1. Here we can say endo, so we can have it in 2 separate lines, and we can do the same thing here, endo. Let's see if that's correct. So we have a hand, rock, paper, scissors. We can play it 5 times from 0 to 4, and I have this misspelled, cout, and cout has the arrows pointed the wrong way. So let's do this. Cout, choose your value, and let's spell endo correctly. Choose 1, 2, or 3. We're going to get the value for the user value, and at the same time we display what the computer has and what you have. And since this is the hand, Rand mod 3 we'll choose for the computer, and you will choose for yourself whatever you chose. It's going to display it since you choose 1, 2, or 3. And we haven't defined user value, so let's define that. So we have user value now, and user value, so you have in user value minus 1. Remember, because you're going to choose 1, 2, or 3, and it has to be one less because this is 0, 1, and 2. And we choose it. Let's see if it runs. Choose a value. I want to choose 2. And computer scissors, you have paper. And so that means we lose. So we can try it again. This time I choose 3, which will be scissors. And computer has rock, and I have scissors, so I lose. Let me choose 3 again. And computer has paper and scissors. Now, how would you determine who wins? Well, you could compare one against the other, and you would have an actual working game. I'll leave that task up to you, so you can try that out. Let's separate our code to make it more readable. So here we have the code, so it'll be more readable. And that's all for now. So that's random numbers and random number generator. The reason that we did sran is so we can seed it, so we can have a different value every time. If you notice, let's take all this for example, just so I can explain sran a little bit more here. So if I was to do for int I equals 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, and I output the random number, so I can say cout, and I can output the number, and I can say ran mod 5, a value from 1 to 5, and then I can say space, and I won't do endo here, I'll do endo at the bottom. And let's see what it does. Let's see what numbers I get. It's ran time no for an I. Okay, that looks right. That looks right. That looks right. Let's go ahead. Oh, I have 2 here. Let's get rid of that. And I think we are good to go. So let's see what it does. Let's stop our program. It doesn't stop. Oh. Let's go ahead and Control Z what I did there. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it now. And I think that's right. And you notice I get 2, 1, 4, 2. If I run it again, I get a different value, and I get a different value. So let's go ahead and stop it. Let's run it, and you notice I'm getting different values every time. Every time I run it, the program's actually running, displaying the numbers. What if I don't seed the time? Let's not seed the time. And I get 31203, 31203, 31203, 31203. So if I don't seed this number, I will get the same. Now the numbers are still random, but I won't get a different set of values every time. That is the reason that you want to seed the random number generator like this. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and like it. If you don't like it, leave a comment below. Tell me what you didn't like. I will try to improve next time. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe because I have more great videos coming your way. Thanks for watching.